once we kind of linked up with Sharp Tone, kind of see the moment presenting itself. You see more things come. We played Knock Loose's CD release show. We did Metal Fest, stuff like that. And more things kind of keep coming across the table like this. Like we appreciate and like recognize the moment that we're having right now. And we want to do it justice. Like we feel like there's a responsibility to the moment to like go out there, put some skin in the game. And I'm not gatekeeping the band anymore.
Real quick before getting into today's episode, I just wanted to mention a few things. Going to do this as quick as possible, I promise. First things first, we have a Discord server if you're not already a part of it. It's the best place to get all the news and updates about the podcast, but it's also a thriving community of people just talking about MySpace, deathcore, metalcore, all the fun stuff. Also, we do these podcast recordings live on Twitch every single Wednesday, 6 p.m. EST. If you want the fully unedited, unfiltered versions of these, as well as being able to be a part of the conversation via Twitch chat, it's a fun time. Come check it out. Last thing I want to plug, we recently launched a Patreon. We finally did it. People have been asking us for a way to support the podcast, and this is our way to do so. So if you want behind the scenes posts, if you want to be the first to know about upcoming guests and events, if you want early access to episodes, if you don't want platform ads or no YouTube ads, stuff like that, Patreon is the way to do so. We also have a supporter-only Discord chat, as well as these group calls that Yan and I do every second Friday. So any of that interests you, or if you simply just want to support the podcast, I'll be leaving a link to the Patreon in the description below, as well as the Discord and the Twitch. So enough yapping. Thank you so much, and enjoy this episode. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Brutality Podcast. My name is Dom, and I'm joined, as always, by my co-host, Yan. And this week, we have the pleasure of welcoming the, third and a half member that we've had on the show that is a part of the band psychoframe. We have a Mike SUGARS with us today. Mike, how you doing, my man?
I'm chilling. I'm doing good. How are you guys?
Super well, dude. We're doing great. We cannot stop talking about psychoframe, so everybody's super excited, and we share that with our community. To be fair, we even have in our chat, like a counter, like the amount of time.
We have a counter for how many times psychoframe has been mentioned. Yeah, let's just count today as one.
That we're at one now. We can look for a new record today. No, I really do appreciate all the love that you guys give us, because I was telling Dom, I like the show a lot. I watch a lot of the guests that you guys have on. I think you guys do a great job. And super excited to be on.
Thanks, dude. It's like we had a little conversation before, and it's like some people were like, wow, third time psychoframe. But as we were explaining, it's always different, having another perspective, another instrument, another... you have this whole thing. You did vocals before that and stuff. So for us, it's as exciting, and as fans of the band, obviously, it's just, we would do that.
Always some new stuff brewing as well. So,
exactly.
First off, let's kind of talk about all that. You specifically too. Obviously, psychoframe announced being signed to Sharp Tone. You guys put out a 2-song single, but you've also got Church Tongue, which kind of came back out of nowhere. Was not expecting new music from them, but hey, we got 2 new songs there as well. Pure Noise on that front too. So busy couple of weeks for you. How's it been?
It is. It's really busy. And it's been busy since really December, because then we had to do music videos for Church Tongue, stuff like that. I did so when we put that first new song out 3 weeks ago, we did the video for that, and then I left the next day, flew down to Atlanta to go to DGA, record with Hunter, Brandon, and Colter, and Dave was there too the whole time, just being awesome. And that's when we did the psychoframe LP. So then I get out of LP. We do Christmas, holidays, family, good stuff. And then as soon as that's over, it's we're or we start rolling it out, church
which
tongues
is
rolling
rare.
out. Yeah, no, it is rare. And in a better world where like things kind of line up the way I would like, these things wouldn't overlap as much as they have. And, be kind of a thing where it's like, here's both of them at once. Here's a lot of, me or just things I'm involved in. But it is exciting, because, I just get to have the huge dopamine drop of everyone just, being like, this is sick.
Yeah, you need some dope. You just open your phone and you're good for the day.
Yeah, no. But it's cool. It's cool. And, with both bands, like it's been super positive. It's been great. Feels like there's a lot of new faces showing up too. You love to see it. And, as always, like the people who have like been around for the last like 2 years with psychoframe or even with Church Tongue pre-existing, that band's like 10 years old. So like seeing a lot of like that come back is like really nice too.
That's awesome, man. And I think too, like it is also rare to kind of have music come out so like the gap between you guys recording, from what I'm understanding, like you guys recording those songs and then putting them out is like really fucking small for most standards, right? Especially, both bands have like labels involved as well, which is usually kind of what makes things long between and like sitting on music for a year or whatever. But cool to see it wasn't the case for this, but that must have been cool actually, to just record and like have it out super soon after.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's nice to have that. Like with Church Tongue, we did wait like a little bit, like trying to make label things happen and stuff like that. Psychoframe, that's never been the case. I mean, even with us signing to Sharp Tone, like ever since we've started working with them, like we tracked everything on feed this fall. Like, it, you only wait a couple months to start putting some stuff out. It has a video, all that stuff. Many bands experience like a year. Like that's how long they'll wait to be able to put some stuff out. And I'm glad we don't have to do that. I hate sitting on music. I hate listening to it and convincing myself that it's good. Because I'm just like, I don't know. I can convince myself anything that like I'm a part of is bad at some point. So I'd rather just get it out there and say, and just let the people decide.
Yeah, it's also the effect of like, if you listen to something too much, you get too much in your head and you start kind of nitpicking things that were not a problem, but like somehow after a while, you're like, oh, is that even, I'm not sure anymore about this. And start doubting yourself and stuff like that for like no reason. So you have to trust your instinct. But sitting on music, especially when you're excited, you're exactly in that mindset because of course things are changing over time, right? Like if for a year, I mean, you wrote,
you write new music, you get stoked on new things, right? Like,
yeah.
So I'm pretty sure a lot of bands don't even feel like, as it's being released, they feel like they're somewhere else already type thing. I'm pretty sure that probably happens. So.
That happens to a lot of people. I know a lot of people that experience that, and they go through like the thing where they record something, takes a long time for it to come out. And then by the time it is coming out, they're like, well, we're already moved on. We're on to the next thing. And stuff like that, but like,
let's not play these live.
Yeah, like I mean, and that is like kind of a curse with Church Tongue. Like up till this point, like we would sit on music for so long, trying to work what we thought would be best out for like releasing it, getting it out, those kind of looks, and then by the time it did, I remember when we released an EP in 2018. We went and played the EP release show and we opened the set with a new song off of the next EP that had not been tracked or anything yet, but we were cooking, like we were just excited, and we were on a little bit of a spree, and we waited so long that we were just like, I don't give a fuck. I'm just opening with a brand new something.
Well, to be fair, I think an album release show is the perfect time to do that. because the people don't know the songs anyways, right? Like they haven't had long enough to get to know the new songs outside of the singles that came out. So playing a new song is probably more of a like, oh wait, let me go look up what this song is like after the show, and then they can't find it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, no, it's kind of like a huge balls move, but like it's also like just like cool, like, I don't know, fuck you guys. Like I'm just doing my shit, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because you got to feel it, right? Like you got to be like, especially when you play live, it's like if you feel like your mindset is somewhere else, like I would be like, I would be like, fuck it, we're playing. I mean, I'm fucking with that song right now. That's the one I want to play. We're playing it. You know, that's how I would feel personally.
That's also how you get bands that stop playing their hits, though. You know, there's like a double-edged sword to that sometimes. Yeah,
it is. Thankfully, Church Tongue has no hits, so
yeah.
So we're just doing what we want.
These two new songs are fucking badass. So I don't know, man.
I appreciate that. No, I do.
It's actually very good. Yeah, I sorry. It's just he knew about it. I didn't, if I'm honest. Like I didn't know, and I was like, he's like, oh, it's in your alley, dude. It's like there's hardcore vibes and stuff like that. He knows I'm really about like hardcore and stuff. Like I click on that, I was like, oh my god, that's angry, dude. I love that. So yeah, congrats, dude.
Thank you. Yeah, no, we're excited to do that. I'm excited for, you know, new PF, all that stuff. I was listening to a little something that no one has yet just now before I got on the show, and it's pretty cool. Can't wait for you guys to hear it someday. But yeah.
Oh, dude, we talked about that quite a lot of times, but like it's cool to have a band like psychoframe, just knowing that we won't be disappointed. You know what I mean? Like from the very first music ever since now, we have yet to hear something that we're like, it never happened. It's always like, oh my god, it's like you're being hit in the face every single time, and it feels like it's a constant. And we talked about that with Hunter, but like it's a constant progression, right? I'm sure you feel it too. It feels like it's just going upward with like more intensity and more. Is that kind of a conversation that you guys have about these things to kind of always push it type thing?
It is. And I will say, like with this LP, like, you know, we talk about like that linear line and like kind of what the band is like trying to achieve sonically and like, I don't know, everything else with it. But I think with this LP, we've maxed out our vision of like what we thought the band like was gonna be or could be, at least for right now. Like in like a very positive, good way, we don't know where to go from here. So it really is all on the table with the LP. Everything that was, you know, the 3 releases before this LP coming up is just like, okay, this is it. That was like the foundation of the pyramid kind of thing. And like, here's the thing. And yeah, we don't really know where to go from here. And I think in a huge way, that's exciting to us because you know, even going into the LP, we were like, what the fuck do we do? But now that we have it, we're all very much like, oh, I think we figured that out, you know? So we'll tackle that when that time comes.
I'm sure we'll have the same conversation a year from now.
For sure. But the main point is to say, like, really hone in on the thing. The point I was trying to make is like, we really did max out what we think the band is, and hopefully what, you know, the listener thinks the band is, like, if you enjoy the band and everything. And yeah, I think, you know, I think the last 2 songs that we just put out are really good. I'm really happy with them. I'm very happy with Colter's, you know, addition to the band creatively and performance wise. And even going into this LP, like, I think that he had already learned so much by recording with us this first time on these first 2 songs that he went into the LP really understanding the vision of what we were trying to do and getting, like, you know, where we come from. And he was like, yeah, I've got this. And it feels really good. It feels very bright going into the next era.
Yeah, it's cool to hear that though, because you're saying like you maxed out, but I feel like it's the perfect timing to do that though. You know, with like the spotlight on you guys, with the label, with the moment, it just feels right from my perspective. It's like the perfect timing to release what the vision you actually had and wanted to achieve. You know, I think if there's a good timing, I think it's going to be now. You know, we keep saying because you, even though I mean we saw the tours, like people you were playing with and stuff, like I was just like, oh my god, hearing Knock Loose talk about you guys and stuff, like there's a lot going on. So like if there's a good moment to me to like to max out and focus, I think it would be now. So it's that's how it feels, you know. It just feels right to me.
Yeah, and we've got a big year ahead of us for that, and because like we feel that too, and like we appreciate and like recognize like kind of like the moment that we're having right now, and we want to do it justice. Like we feel like there's a responsibility to the moment to like go out there, put some skin in the game, and we're gonna play a lot of shows. So people who have not had the chance to see us because of region, time, whatever, I'm not gatekeeping the band anymore.
Well, that is something that I wanted to talk about, I guess, because the dynamic, or I guess the general goals of the band have clearly shifted since the beginning up until now, right? Like because in the beginning it was very kind of outwardly said that it was not going to be like a nonstop touring band, and that you guys weren't going to do the grind, and that was not what you guys were aiming for. But now I'm hearing, hey, let's do 100 shows a year, and hey, let's do all these things, and now with the label and all these things. So can you kind of speak to that, kind of like how over time, it kind of goes back to what you were just talking about, I assume, you know, just kind of capitalizing on the moment. But can you kind of speak to that transition, I guess, of, you know, how it was in the beginning and going into a more let's go all out?
For sure. Yeah, that was my bad, man. I didn't want to at first. Like I was mainly concerned with just making like a cool deathcore band with a Hunter and Whittle, because like we'd been talking about it like for a little bit. Like we were exchanging like our first demos, like I don't know, like a half a year before RGS ever came out. Like more than that, actually. It was like 9 months. Like that's when psychoframe was like really kind of conceptualizing. So like fall 2022. And yeah, whenever we like were first putting it out and everything, it was very much just like, I've never been in a deathcore band. Whittle's never been in a deathcore band. And like, you know, like we both kind of come from that world and moved on into other things. Like we never like really participated like full blown in that. And like, yeah, I don't know. We just wanted to make something that we had wanted to hear from the genre. And then it came out and it got some traction, more than we thought it would. And then we were like, okay, I guess we can look at playing shows and stuff.
Let's do four.
Yeah. yeah. We were like, we'll look at playing some shows, but wouldn't it be like pretty baller to put out a second EP in the same year? And not the logistically smartest move to do, to put out an EP in December. Like that's it. Nothing else is like kind of releasing at that time. They're like, this is the end of the year kind of thing. But like, it at least gives you a moment to like sit alone. You know, nothing else is releasing, you know, December 8th kind of thing. And then, yeah, you know, we were like, we'll do our first couple headlining shows. Before we even got those shows, we had already gotten like the Spite Body Snatcher offer, already got like the Dying Fetus shows. So we were like, okay, when we started the band, playing with Dying Fetus was like, to us, we were like, oh, it'd be so cool if we pulled one of those off, right? Just one show, something like that. Yeah. Because the band is so influenced by the band. And then, you know, lo and behold, like, you know, we kind of like round out the end of a tour for them. So it's like a dream come true in a way.
Was that you guys? Because on the Spite tour is the same thing. You guys only did like a portion of those tours. Were those slotted as regional regional spots, or were you guys like, nah, we don't want to do the full thing?
I will say that, like, if I remember correctly, I could be wrong. Hey, man. If I remember correctly,
I'll be sure to clip this part. Yeah.
Yeah. If I remember correctly, we were offered the whole Spite Body Snatcher tour. But again, my bad, man. I was not really about this life. I'm a little bit older, you know, and I'm a homeowner, stuff like that, you know, and a married man, love it. It's all chill. And I was like, yeah, I just don't know if I'm about that life, but this thing keeps kind of getting away from me a little bit, and I'm very thankful for it, because, like, you know, like, historically, you know, I just mentioned earlier, I was like, yeah, Church Tongue has no hits, you know, like, I don't have like a big resume or anything like that, and I was just in it for love of the game. But now, as we're like, you know, once we kind of linked up with Sharp Tone, things like that, you kind of see the moment presenting itself. You see more things come. You know, we played Knock Loose's CD release show in Louisville. We did Metal Fest, stuff like that. And more things kind of keep coming across the table like this. I'm like, we really have something right now that we kind of got to do, don't we? And it could be really cool. And that's exciting. So, and I hope the record reflects that, and reflects like how hungry we are to do that.
Right. The excitement out of all of that.
Yeah. Because I'm excited.
It's cool.
That's cool, man.
Might be the best way to go about it, though, because, you know, doing it for the love and not really knowing, and then people are talking by themselves, you know what I mean? Like the fans have spoken type thing, you know. It's just like, oh, they won it, so like you don't really have, because I feel like so many people probably starts with the opposite. It needs to work. We need to make sure people. So like you do everything with tons of pressure, and just like we want to do the touring life, and that's all you do, and you're stressed out. As opposed to you guys, who were just like, let's do something good, you know. Let's just like, let's do the best we can together and stuff. And then next thing you know, everybody's talking about it and is doing super well. And you guys are seen as the like, there's a huge resurgence of what we used to call like MySpace deathcore, and like more of the, you know, raw version of deathcore. And you guys are seen as like the leader of that almost, you know what I mean? Like with the super brutal deathcore, I remember seeing all the comments of people saying like, that's the deathcore I miss. That's what I always wanted type thing. So it's, you know, I feel like it's okay for you to start it with like just a passion and just like, let's do it. And then people love it and you just go with it type thing. I think it's just kind of a natural progression thing from my perspective.
Yeah, no. And I have been on that other side that you mentioned, where it's like, it's a desperation thing where you're just like, gotta make it work. Gotta make it work. This is all I got. This is my life. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've been there. And
this next song has to be the one.
Yeah,
you know, there's like so much pressure
hit.
Sometimes. There's this music video or this one thing, it's got to blow us the fuck up, you know?
Yeah, it's got to be
That's how
hit.
people pay for features and get fucking way too expensive music videos for like something that people aren't even going to resonate with in the first place, you know?
And then you go out and you tour a bunch. It doesn't work out, you know, shit like that. Like, been there, man. And like, I don't regret any of that. Like, all of that shit was awesome. And like, I've had like such a good time, like, you know, pursuing music the way I have for as long as I have. You know, I don't take any of it back, but I'm just older now, and like comes from a different place. And like, yeah, I don't know. I'm just grateful to still be around. I'm grateful to still like have the chance to play and to do this. And I'm more grateful that, like, you know, it seems like this band is like something people like really gravitate towards. And I do appreciate like the kind words about like, you know, kind of like the spirit where this band comes from, like kind of like the, you know, there's like the MySpace deathcore thing, you know, and like, you know, I do recognize that like we're seen as like kind of like a big player in like that grouping and everything. And yeah, I mean, that is like the spirit with which we started the band. Like, that's where, we come from. That's, we lived those days, we lived those shows, so we were just like, yeah, we want to do that, and then maybe somewhere down the line, like people who like this band will find out about Terror or something.
Mm-hmm. Dying Fetus,
Yeah. No, I'm like, go to the book. That's the book we're reading from. But yeah.
Yeah, I always saw you like kind of I wouldn't say like the bridge of like almost like the bridge because you have such a good production as well. You know what I mean? Like a lot of the resurgence is very raw intentionally, like the recording all rough and stuff like that. It's part of what it is. But if you hear Psycho, it sounds massive, like it sounds as good as any like huge production. So you have the rawness. We keep talking about that, but it's like you're in the middle of rawness and like great production quality. So I feel like you can please kind of both kind of audience. If people appreciate like huge production stuff like that, they can actually appreciate what you guys are doing. But if you love raw, you're also served. I mean, I keep listening to like 2006 EPs and stuff like that, and yeah, I think you guys are amazing. So it's not only that you're leading that, but I feel like you're bridging both. Maybe it's my perspective also, but like we had those conversations.
Somewhat of a more modern sounding thing.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. And a lot of that, man, that's Hunter and Brandon. That's DGA. They understand. They know what they're trying to do with that, with the production, and finding like where this band fits, like within a sonic aesthetic. And, yeah, because you could lean all the way into like some like, I don't know, like for lack of a better word, shitty like sounding like kind of thing, or you can like do like a way cleaner mix, stuff like that, much more akin to the kind of like gent deathcore shit that is like wildly popular. And no, like they do understand kind of where this band needs to sit somewhere in that medium, and it does work super well in our favor and to my taste. This is like this is how I picture the band sounding too. So shout out Hunter and Brandon, Brown Jeep in chat if you know.
Yeah, no, it's super cool, and I'm just curious. Like we're talking a little bit about playing shows and stuff like that. Do you personally feel kind of the pressure behind all of that, or you're so used to it, you're just like having fun and super excited? Like, is there kind of a okay, let's need to deliver all that anger and what people they love it so much? It's like maybe it was something at first and now you're okay, but did you ever feel some sort of pressure behind that?
Yeah. Especially the very first show. I remember like being like, oh my God, this is so real. And like, we played at LCY, which is a great venue. And like our first show was to like, I don't know, maybe like a little over 100 people. And it was awesome. And I've done that before. So I was like, I don't know why the fuck I'm freaked out. Like, like this, but no, I do still get nervous a lot. And I especially get nervous at like, I get especially nervous at like one-off shows and stuff like that. So like when we did the Knocked Loose thing, I was a mess. There's a picture somewhere on my Instagram of me making this like ridiculous pose that my friend Maggie took. And she took it and I was like, that guy's never been nervous in his whole life. I was like, I was a mess. I think I just knocked something backstage over at that point too. Yeah, I don't know. I do get nervous a lot in the moment, and I get nervous about like being able to represent like this band like the way I think it should be, because again, like before this band, I'd never like been in a deathcore band. No one would have ever considered me like a deathcore vocalist. And like, even when it came to releasing RGS, I remember when we were getting like test mixes and stuff. And I remember listening to Dragging Nazarene, and I had texted Hunter on the side and I asked him, I said, do you think I sound like I'm cosplaying? Like, am I doing a good enough job? Like, like, am I the guy like that should be doing this? And he was like, brother, you sound cool. Like, shut the fuck up. And I was like, all right, for sure. And that song still is one of my favorite songs, like with the band and everything. Someone else in chat just said it's their favorite too. Song bangs.
I heard it many times, by the way. This song is getting brought up like a lot. Like you guys know, I love doing like top psychoframe breakdown and stuff like that in my content. Like I keep bringing it, and that song is like people are bringing a lot, you know, to be fair. And
that
for
one's
your
awesome.
vocals, honestly, if I may, I feel like you bring a lot of anger. You said like I'm not like a deathcore type of, but it sounds like angry, and I feel like it works so well for psychoframe. I do understand maybe from your perspective, like, oh, you know, back then, like, is it kind of deathcore? But I feel like it makes the sound more unique because it's a bit different. It's more of a angry, pissed off tone. I think that's what I said one of the first time. I'm like, that's angry, that's pissed off, you know. So it works really, really well, I think. That's cool.
And I appreciate that a lot because I kind of have that same mindset that like you're definitely seeing inside my head a little bit, because again, I come from this world. I went on to eventually do like more metal hardcore shit, but I've always liked this and always kind of kept up with the bands I liked and things like that. So then coming into it, I'm like, I'm working from just my own sensibilities, you know, and like some, you know, one of the things the band like was always like joking about whenever we first started, we'd be like talking about like the kind of deathcore we don't like, or like the kind of vocals like we don't like and shit like that. It comes from that sensibility that we're just like, I don't know, we have lived a little bit differently than just like the pure, I don't know, deathcore life. So where we're coming from comes from a much more like aggressive place, but just at like a different, like there's a different filter on it. So I don't know, I'm just hollering my fucking head off and trying my hardest.
We often talk about the difference mostly being like being influenced by the genres and the bands that MySpace deathcore was influenced by, and that was not deathcore, right?
Yeah.
Versus now bands are referencing deathcore bands, even in the new wave of the revival bands. They're not ripping Dying Fetus. They're ripping Suicide Silence, right? Like it's still coming. It's not going all the way back. So I think that's very clear in your guys' music that like the influence is not just other deathcore bands, right?
Yeah, absolutely not. And like, yeah, we love, like, everyone loves The Cleansing. Mm-hmm. Everyone does. It's a great album, you know. But there's other stuff. That's the thing, is like you can only hone in on Unanswered so many times. You can only hone in on The Price of Beauty so many times. So yeah, I mean, that's why we turn to things like Dying Fetus. It's why we turn to things like fucking, I'm not even gonna fucking go deeper on it, because I feel like that's Dave and Hunter who should be talking about this kind of thing. But yeah, that's just not where we look.
Safe to say, we're not getting a Recreant cover at any of the upcoming live shows.
No. I probably wouldn't do a good job either. So yeah, no, I'm good. Yeah, I don't know. That's our shit.
No, but it's cool because it's more like, I feel like a really good sign in music is when you have a hard time classifying something, and psychoframe is in that spot where it's kind of like I can hear so many different influences, you know, like it's so heavy in a certain way. Sometimes it's like, I don't know if, you know, Black Tongue was so like, oh my God, like it was dark and heavy, and you have some of that anger kind of just like, oh my God, I'm about to die in the pit. And the part right after, you know, you have a feature with Dunn from Waking, which is just like super dead and stuff like that. Like you guys don't stay in like one lane. It's not like, oh, okay, we're this with like, you know, this kind of riff and stuff like that. With psychoframe, I feel like it's always a freaking surprise, and that's why people are here for it. You don't know what's gonna hit next, and you're not scared of going in something maybe that's not considered classic deathcore or something. And I feel like that's part of the formula, right?
It is, yeah. And like, and even, you know, you'll get a lot of that in the EP, or not the EP, LP. Shit, I don't know. I work here, but you'll get a lot of that in the LP. Like, I do think there's a lot of cool looks in there. There's shit that we haven't done before in there, and there's a spot in the last track on the album that we have been calling future music. So it's just some weird shit.
Okay. Oh yeah.
Yeah. And it speaks to what you just said in a way, to me at least. And yeah, I don't know. Very exciting. Future music. Also, I just want to shout out, I do see a lot of people in the chat that are from our Discord, and I just want to say I love you guys. Thank you for hanging out here.
Cool. That's awesome. And how do you feel about the reception? I think we talked about it a little bit, but like the video's doing well, man. I mean, like, dude, views and everything. Were you like kind of, I wouldn't say surprised, because like it's an amazing song and stuff like that, but is it for you, is it just like what is happening, you know? Like,
it is the most viewed thing I've ever been a part of. So that it's super exciting. I think the last time I looked, it was around like 190K, something like that. Sure. Probably it could have broken 2 by now for all we know. And that's really fucking cool.
It's still really new too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For context, it came out like a week and a half ago, you know?
Yeah, no. And that's crazy. And again, that's just another thing. I'm like the how awesome that is like not lost on me or any of the guys, because again, we just wanted to make shit we liked, and we didn't have an ulterior motive. We weren't hoping for anything to necessarily come out of it. And like the fact that like people do not only seem to like take notice of the band, but it feels like people latch on very hard. And like the way that I see people like really like love on this band and like rep this band is it's fucked up,
cult like behavior, my man. You see it in the Discord, you see it on socials. Like people are die-hard fans of psychoframe. There is no, it's either you love it or you hate it. It's one or the other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, look, I'm happy with that, you know, like, because I also recognize, like, you know, like while I'm over here, like, thank you so much to everyone that loves us, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I am also completely aware that we're not for everyone, you know, like I remember
no one is like, that's just,
no one is. Not all art is for everybody, but I've seen some of the like YouTube reaction videos where I saw one recently. It was to I want to say it was to Beaten Beyond ID. Okay. And they were listening to it. You could tell they were having a bad time. They hated it. and at the end, he was like, "Who is this for? Like, who's
it's for us?" We got it.
Yeah, and I was like, unfortunately, that like I literally know who it's for. So. Yeah. And he said something like it's for like drinking battery acid too or something, and I was like, yeah. Well,
I can see that. If you're not used to that level of heaviness, you're like, what is happening? You know, like someone who's listening more. Picture someone who's really into, for example, like metalcore and like Octane and stuff, or like heavy stuff, but just like kind of genty, bouncy, and then they hear that, they're just like, that's not. You know what I mean? Like a lot of music. a lot of reactors. You know what I mean? Like there are some, you know, heavy deathcore reactor. But there are also a lot of them are more, you know, tuned in with what's maybe playing at like Octane and stuff like that. So like if you show that to them, they don't even understand what's happening. They couldn't even describe what's happening in the riff. You know, so makes it funnier.
Exactly.
So.
Yeah, no, and I do love that. I like seeing those people find out about it too. And yeah, I don't know. It's all good. What we got? I just want to give a little love as well to COVID Matt in here. We call him COVID Matt because the joke is that he gave Hunter COVID at our first show.
Must have been awesome.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Just a quick second to talk about the sponsors of today's episode, Indie Merch Store. So they're currently sponsoring 2 separate tours that I'm going to talk about real quick. The first one being Angel Maker headlining the Level Up tour featuring Humanity's Last Breath, Psychoframe, and The Gloom in the Corner. Tickets and VIP are on sale now. VIPs include a ton of great merch and incentives, and you can win a $500 gift card to Indie Merch Store. The other tour is Rivers of Nile. They're doing their headlining tour, the Aggressive Progressive Tour, featuring Holy Dawn, Inter Arma, and Glacial Tomb. Tickets and VIPs are on sale now. It includes meet and greets and killer merch items. You can snag merch from Rivers of Nile at indiemerchstore.com. With all that, we do have a code that you guys can use if you guys want to use code Brutality for 10% off at checkout. That is something you guys can do, and it helps support the show. So again, code Brutality at checkout on indiemerchstore.com. Thanks again to Indie Merch for sponsoring the show. Now back to the episode. While we're on the new music stuff, you lightly touched on Colter joining the band.
Yeah.
That motherfucker, we had him on here. He for sure was already a part of the band.
He was already, he's in the band.
That motherfucker.
He was in the band.
And we talked about Psychoframe. So I've got a bone to pick with him. But talk to me about his inclusion in the band and maybe kind of what he brings to the table. And is there, how different is the dynamic? Like, I'd actually kind of be curious in general, just like writing process and writing lyrics and stuff. Like, is that different with someone else? Like, how does it typically work? How's it change? Like, how's it been being with Colter now?
Colter is amazing. I love him. He joined the band while we were kind of, we were already parting ways with Whittle, and we were just kind of scrambling because we didn't really know what to do, to be honest. Like, there was like a lot of there was a conversation about like how to continue without John in the band, just because like it's it's one of those things about like losing a singer. Obviously this band has 2, but like it's still like losing a singer. And also John like did so much to like really hone in on like what the vibe of the band is. Like that, a lot of that is his work. Like he was really, really creatively like driven in the band. And yeah, I mean, even going forward without him, like I still credit and owe a lot to like his brain, like and how he saw the band going forward. And then when we're in the middle of thinking of how we can replace him, because not only is he like a good person creatively, he like has one of the best high screams like in the game currently. And we were just like, I don't know what the fuck to do. And so we started asking some people, we started asking some friends, like, hey, do you like fucking know anybody? Because like we don't. Like there's plenty of like good vocalists out there, but like
but you guys were looking for something, right?
Yeah,
we were looking for something. And Hunter and Colter had started talking, and Colter initially was talking to Hunter, like trying to figure out other people other than himself. And like eventually it was just like, I'm fucking throwing my hat in the ring. Yeah. He's like, I'm throwing my hat in the ring. Here's this EP, which is now, as everyone knows, KSD. Here's this EP I'm working on, blah, blah, blah.
Had it already gone through the studio though? Because Brandon did the mastering on that, right?
He did. I don't know if he had mastered it at that point yet. It could have still been like pre-mastering phase. And then maybe he showed that to Hunter, and, that's when that's when Hunter and Brandon are kind of like, well, what if you give me that? You know,
let's see what we can do with this. Yeah.
Exactly. And then, he threw his hat in the ring, and, you know, Hunter sent me, you know, the KSD stuff. And I was like, I mean, I like his voice. I didn't know Colter prior or anything. We have a million mutual friends, like, but, you know, he lives in Canada. I live in America, kind of thing. You know, you only have so many opportunities to run into each other, things like that. And we just kind of like went on a whim with it. And we were just like, we know Colter comes from a similar background that we do. We like his other bands, and why don't we just go for it? And it worked out, and I'm super happy with it. That motherfucker is my friend, and I will gaslight him until his dying days.
Gaslight him about what?
Everything.
Okay.
Everything.
Nothing is off the table. Okay.
It never stops. Colter and I are constantly gaslighting each other for anything and everything. Our text conversations are just a nightmare. And then it's, I don't know, it's all good. It's all funny. But like, yeah, we're just like constantly like going for black belt gaslighter on each other. And yeah, I mean, then when it comes to real shit, like, you know, like being in the band, creative writing shit, he's great. He gets us. He knows what we're trying to do. And he wrote No Revives. So cool. I thought it was, and then I wrote Breathing Napalm. So when, you know, we're trying to decide like what the video is going to be and stuff like that, I thought it was really important, especially since Whittle was leaving the band, and, you know, people that like were either concerned, sad, curious, all of the above. I thought it was really important to be like, this is everything that the new guy has to offer.
Right. Like put as much of it into that thing that you're putting out.
Yeah. Like it's still like the whole band. No one knows that unless I'm here saying it, you know? Right. But to me, I was right. Like, but
you know, and then you see the reception, and you can kind of gauge also. Right.
Yeah. And also like, I thought it was so important for it to be that song, because like that first verse section, like once you hit kind of like the mix cut and we're going into that slam part, and you have all the inhales and stuff, like the switching from inhales to highs, all Colter. So like my big thing was he wrote this song. In this song, he showcases that he has like a bit of a bigger tool belt than like what we had been playing with before, and he kicks fucking ass. And I think that all came across, but I didn't have to say it, and that's the best part. So, and then going into this LP, like he really did do a lot of writing for this thing, and also like, you know, when it comes to like curating a vibe and just being like, this is what we're going for. He named the LP. So, and it's a cool name.
He immediately, you know, from having talked to him on here, you know, like you can immediately tell like that dude's an artist, right? Like it's more than just I can scream good or I can play guitar well or whatever, right? You keep referencing like vibes and the ambience and trying like getting what you guys are going for. I think even, you know, KSD was very much coming from a similar place as we were talking about earlier for Psychoframe, right? Like just this is what I would want deathcore to sound like. Let's just do it. Like again with little expectations. And so I think there are a lot of parallels to be drawn between like how he sees his art and what he does and Psychoframe. So to me, like when I found out that it was him, I was like, this is the perfect fit. Like if there is one, this is it. Like
it's him.
To me, like and that's like beyond just his vocal abilities. It's like everything that comes with that as well. So I'm fucking stoked, dude. I'm so fucking happy that the two kind of worlds kind of collided, because he's doing fucking awesome shit with you guys now. It's fucking cool.
He's an artist. He is. He's super good at everything. And again, he is my friend, and I love having him in the band, and we've been making some cool shit. And now he's still working on all kinds of other shit at the same time too, because he is just as much of a warehouse of music as some other people say. Like, Hunter's a warehouse of music. He's got plenty of shit that he has in the oven. Or there's plenty of shit that comes out you don't know that he touched as well, things like that. So
always working on something.
Always working on something.
But I think
right now
cool.
He's done hearing this album.
Yeah, probably. That would have been my guess. Moving on. But I think I love hearing that, because to me, it can be, even though, Colton is like super artist, great guy, and very talented, for anybody joining like an existing project is a bit still intimidating at first, just kind of walking in, and it feels like you guys immediately just like, you said like, oh, he wrote that song, he's part of this, he chose the name of that, him to like, it sounds to me like he was like instantly, like it felt right instantly, and he was like welcome with open arms. He keeps saying like, oh, he's my friend now and stuff like that. So it's cool to hear, because that's always what the fans are hoping for. When you lose someone that's super talented in the lineup, and you're like, that's always like, oh shit, what's gonna happen, and then it just sounds super wholesome and kind of meant to be. So it's fun to hear that it's not always the case. Some people, when they welcome someone, it's more like, listen, that's what we do, here's your part type thing. You know what I mean? Like we heard that a couple of times, and it's just fun to hear that he's just like fully, he's into it, which is going to be good for psychoframe, because as you said, he's like extremely creative, great person, like amazing artist. So it's just going to contribute in the best way, I think.
Yeah, no. And he's just great. He's a perfect fit on all fronts. And anyone who doesn't like the band with him, which I really haven't seen anything negative in that regard, but anyone who doesn't like the band with him in it, like going forward, like, I don't know, you're missing out. Like, he brings a lot to the table.
I cannot imagine why, though. I'll be honest with you. Like, I would be curious to know, like, what can you say about that?
Maybe Inhale haters, or I don't know.
Yeah. Look, that time is come and gone. Inhales are back. They're back.
You're
I love
talking
it.
to someone who is abusing inhales. Like I'm doing inhales in the SM58 on a daily basis. I'm really, I love inhales personally. Like I love that now people are kind of realizing stuff. Like for the longest time, people were like, it's bad for you and this, but like so many people have proven that it's false. In death metal, there's a lot of inhales. First of all, in brutal death, there's a lot of it. Done from Waking is a good example. You have him on the track. He's doing a lot of inhales and stuff. So
he's the GOAT.
He's dude, oh my god! And that part in the song, like you're talking about, being that song, man.
I shit bricks when that song came out. I was like, whoa,
that's a good one. It's a good one.
I've listened to it so much. Incredible, seriously. But yeah, I think this like my vision personally, I'll be even honest. Like, of course, since I'm doing it, I love hearing inhales. Like, I have a love for it. But at the same time, to me, my only thing is, does that sound cool? I don't care really if you're using like this technique, or does that sound cool? That's it. That's kind of how I see it.
I mean, most people don't know, anyways. If we're being real, know.
Yeah. I don't know. The technique shit is like very much like bottom tier, like concern. You know what I mean? I'm just like, we just want it to sound cool. Like I wouldn't imagine someone would tell me I have good technique. If I do, great, whatever. I don't know. I've just been screaming for a long time, and I'm sure if a doctor scoped me, he would be so mad at me, but like I don't care, because I'm doing my thing and I think it sounds cool and whatever.
Yeah, that was another. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Well, I mean, just real quick on the topic of doctors and such and vocals and recording. Bronchitis while you recorded ADP.
ADP is full blown bronchitis.
Holy shit,
it bums me out when I listen to it because like I think so much about what it could be. You know what I mean? So that's why I was like, okay, feed has to go hard as fuck. LP has to go hard as fuck. And I'll say it, LP, I have some of the best shit I've ever imagined, like coming out of me on there. There were a lot of talks about like, you know, what guest vocals should we get for the LP, and I don't think we need them.
That's what I heard.
That's cool to hear, man. Like, I love hear, like, we have this conversation, and like, you know, as much as I respect people being humble and stuff like that, I feel like you have to be stoked about what you're about to release and about your performance. It is necessary like, I personally love hearing that you're stoked and you think that's the best you've done. That's what you want to hear, right? Not like, oh, it's fine, I guess. You know what I mean? Like, I want people to be excited about what they do. So it's cool. It's cool to hear.
Shout out Chris, who's apparently getting ready for his wedding and listening to psychoframe. That's so cool.
Yeah, I was afraid for him, if I'm being honest. Like, yesterday we have this thing called community night, you know, we just hang out and video chat with our community, and he was up until like something like 6 or whatever. So and he's just like, oh, I have a wedding today. I was like, like, what are you? So, you know, good for you, Chris.
Gotta replace the coffee with some psychoframe and get to go.
Oh, makes sense. That wakes you up.
That's why they're listening.
That wakes you up for sure.
That's what you listen to make sure you don't cry when she's walking down the aisle, kind of thing. You're like, I'm not gonna fucking break.
Okay.
That would work for sure. And listen, man, I'll be honest. The second you release that, we're going to be talking about it 24/7, and me and my freaking for anyone here following me on Instagram or any of my socials, yes, you're going to hear like a lot of it. Like, I can picture me doing like 50 tub breakdowns, but I'm so excited, dude. Seriously, like, every time we had those conversations, but every time you drop something, it's like it feels like we're kids, like, listening to something, knowing you're gonna like it. I remember being young, and like, it's like when the next freaking Halo would come out, you know, back when it was amazing. You just know it's gonna be sick. So like, you buy this, but it's just like, you're not scared of it. It's just like, it's gonna be sick, I know it, you know, type thing.
Yeah.
And you guys, it feels the same way, you know, like, you Hunter, the team you have, it's like a super group type thing. It's like, we just know we're gonna love it. Plus, you're stoked on it, which is, you know, Colton.
Dude. Is breathing napalm about Fortnite? Is that correct? Is that a true
totally
statement?
About Fortnite. It's totally about Fortnite.
Could you elaborate on that?
Wow.
Yeah. So the give at the end is say goodbye, bitch. You'll never hold the crown. You fucking let down. Die by the blade. Just peep the new season of Fortnite.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
That's it. It's just about winning Fortnite. And like, yeah, I'm just like, I don't know. I'm just saying shit, right? Like, and like, I guess that's kind of a segue a little bit into like what any of the songs are about. Like, I don't know, man. We're just joking. Like, that's just it. Like, you know, I had mentioned earlier, you know, I'm married. I have a house. You know, I have a dog. Like, bro, I'm so domesticated. Like, you know, like, I'm just a guy. These songs are jokes. They're fun. They're funny. Like, songs being funny are kind of like a thing with the band. We didn't intend on it to be, but like, we realized that like, that's a thing people like. Like, I even saw someone mention earlier, like the fuck your face, eat grenades line. Dude, I'm just talking. You know, I'm just saying, saying
yapping.
Stuff. Dude, like we were in the studio, that breakdown's playing. You're like, all right, what's our lyric here? Because like, it happens all the time. You know, it's like, I've written this song.
Yeah, you're missing a chunk.
I haven't landed this section yet. So you present it to the room, and if someone spitballs something out, then it works. And I spatball, fuck your face, eat grenades, and then Hunter just goes, money shot. And we were like, yeah. And then I don't know, then we go from there. And then as I'm writing Breathing Napalm, I realized that I was subliminally writing, just about like playing Fortnite. I play a lot of fucking Fortnite. Mm-hmm. There have been many comments here in this chat I haven't quite had the chance to acknowledge about playing Fortnite. I apparently played Fortnite with someone's cousin, without a name. That means nothing to me just yet. But, we play Fortnite. This band plays Fortnite for sure. And, I was like, yeah, I can get away with it. So, so I just start saying a bunch of shit, chorus is like, I'll carpet bomb your fucking life until you're crying suicide. And that's just, I don't know. I'm just playing Fortnite. I'm just saying stuff. That's it.
Works though. The important part is that
you should hear me when I'm playing Fortnite. I'm saying we are all saying
we need some sampling from you guys actually playing some.
Put it in the soundboard and the Discord.
If you guys at some point, like, I'm kind of dreaming to see a studio update from you guys type thing. That would be so fucking sick. Like you remember those things back in the days?
Yeah.
Studio update, you see the guys, like, I fully pictured you guys being angry at Fortnite, and then you record something and then you go back. That would be freaking amazing, dude.
Those are things that we should be doing, to be honest, because like it's very hard. There's not like a great window into what it looks like to be inside the DGA house. Like in general, like how crazy it can be in there sometimes. Like, and like you'll have like moments of like just deep serenity. And then all of a sudden one domino gets knocked over and there's like a 3-hour stint of just pure bullshit chaos. And it's so fun. And recording like with this band is so fun because like I honestly, a studio update would have been great when we were recording the LP, because that's when the Game Awards were on, and we just like paused like tracking to watch the Game Awards. You would have seen our live reactions to a lot of really cool things, You would have seen me cry during the Okami announcement. Dude, I stood straight up Scorsese. I was like, oh my God.
Cinema.
Yeah, I was like, cinema. I literally got down and bowed and I was crying.
Yeah, I just want to answer to that. We are nerds. That's correct. We all pretty much are in deathcore. That's something I realized real quick, in metal deathcore we are basically nerd. I've never
it happens a lot.
Yeah.
You guys were kind of I guess in the beginning, I would say maybe more of a let's appear serious, type of band. And I feel like that's completely flipped, right? Like, because you're saying, it'd be cool to have the studio updates and stuff like that. Like, it would have been interesting. And I feel like 2 years ago that would have been like an absolute no-go. Like, no, we're just putting. Definitely we're not even going to talk about the silly lyrics or any of that, right? Whereas like now it's like you see it in the Discord and even the Discord calls you guys have, and it's just you guys are just being yourselves at this point. It's just like you guys are just goofing off and I don't know. Was there like a deliberate kind of decision behind that, or it just kind of came with time?
Well, so when we started the band, like, there was that sense of like we're serious, there's like some mystery to the band, stuff like that. Shout out NISO-frame. I'm going to talk about NISO-frame.
Let's do it.
But there was like a sense of seriousness, and like with that, like, because we never intended to be playing shows or anything like that, we just wanted to make something that we liked. And we also kind of highlighted that we did not like a lot of like newer deathcore, like just a vast majority. No shade. No, I got no personal stones to throw or anything like that. We just don't. And it's because we went on to do like metal and hardcore things and that's it. So then we revisit it and kind of view it through our lens and make our thing. But with that and like the seriousness of the band and everything, like that got us some attention, and it like helped like kind of bring people in and stuff, but also like
made people curious for sure, right?
It made people curious, but like we recognize the ways that it's like alienated ourselves as well, and like like kind of skewed the perception of who the band like actually is. Like even like the people like there are fans of this band that I really enjoy, that like now that we've been playing, like I've seen them like a couple times, stuff like that, like, you know, and most of them know who they are. Some of them are in this chat. Like I enjoy these folks kind of thing. And like, where was I going with this?
Because previously that was closed off, like that wasn't.
That was like we were like kind of unapproachable, and like I remember there was one person that like came to a show, gave us a gift, and like I had like I kind of like get like a little like teary about it still, but like I kind of teared up when they gave it to me, and I was like, oh my god, like this is so cool. And I saw them comment like in the Discord later, like, you know, for how like tough or like serious this band like makes themselves out to be, like that, like they were like really sweet and like they were cool to hang out with and stuff like that. And I was like, in a way, like, you know, I'm thankful, right? Like I really liked my interaction with that person, but I also was like, oh, I really don't hope people just are out there like these guys are fucking like these guys are dickheads, like, or like, I don't know, just stuff like that. And so that kind of introduced the idea of NISOFrame, where we were just like, I don't know, like the we're dope, like we're the best deathcore band ever shit is like, it is hilarious. We were being hilarious when that happened. But yeah, I don't know, just I think we like NISOFrame more. I think that's just what we like. And I also
you guys have the ability to turn off NISOFrame every now and then still. It's cool.
Don't piss me off, you know, like yeah, don't piss me off. I'll go back. I'll go back so quick. But like I would even see like the effects of this, the start of the band and how we portrayed ourselves. I would see that kind of bleed into some other okay, I saw this Reddit thing one time. Someone is talking about,
that was your first mistake.
Yep.
I know. I'm on it. I am. I do read.
Strange place, but yeah,
it is a strange place. But I was on Reddit and I saw someone talking just about some bands, whatever, right? Like, couldn't even tell you who it was off the top of my head, but someone came in, our name was mentioned. Someone was like, I don't like it. And this kid, I'm assuming they're a kid. I don't know if they are or not. My bad.
Probably not.
Yeah.
Which is the worst, which is unfortunate.
I know that might be the worst part, but they kind of just like went off, had like a little bit of like a big tangent about like how we're the best band. Like we're like, and every other band sucks, and like everyone must bow to this band. And I was reading it, and I almost responded to him like in the Reddit thread, and just wanted to be like, chill, like it's not that deep, kind of thing. So, those are the things that spawned NISOFrame, and
right. You had more interactions like that, though. You're like, you know, I don't know this. Like,
I just didn't like it. I'm like, that's not actually like the spirit of like what we want to do. Like we just want to make like dope ass heavy music. You know, that's cooler. What we.
If I'm honest with you, like it's more relatable, and like especially because even though deathcore in general and heavy music has this image of like angry and pissed off and stuff like that, like at the end of the day, most of us were just like super chill, and like we have these conversation, and you said you listening to the podcast, you clearly saw all these bands are in general, they're super chill and fun and nice, and to me it definitely is a plus. Like if I listen to a band and next thing you know, it's like they're just, you know what I mean? Like they're kind of replying to everybody with like anger and like we're the shit, like shut up. I would be like, oh really? That's, you know, I wouldn't relate to that. I would just be like, yeah, that kind of, you know. But on the opposite side, if you see, I see you guys just like playing Fortnite, being, you know, guys and just like having fun together. And then I hear the music and it's angry and violent as shit. It's even cooler to me. It's just like nice people doing the angriest, heaviest thing ever. So I feel like most people, I don't want to talk for everybody, but most people actually prefers that, I would say.
I think so. And like even on the outside looking in, like if I'm thinking of other bands, like I don't ever like when they're like cocksuckers, you know, like I don't think anyone likes a dickhead on earth, you know. And there's even the conversation about like a fan base. Like you can think of like some big band, whoever, name drop an Octane Core band, right? And we're just like, oh, they're fans, and I'm like, I wouldn't want it. Because you know, it's plain as day how those bands fans treat them. They treat the band, or they treat other fans or people who are not fans, because people put that on the internet to be read for some reason. I don't know why, but they do. And yeah, I don't know. I'm just like, if we could kind of cultivate like some like being fucking chill, like that would be dope. Also, just like Matt is saying here, how the Discord was at the beginning of the band was crazy. It was crazy. A lot of people got banned. A lot of them deserved it, to be honest. And I trust my mods. I trust my day ones, my true framers.
It is a different vibe though, to, you know, to touch on that real quick. Like it's just, you know, I feel like people are less judged, feel less judged, baby. Yeah. Now than when it first started off, right? But
yeah, no, it's totally different from then. It used to be a thing where it was like, okay, you get to post like what kind of bands you like, and if you post a band that people are like, nope, sucks, just banned immediately. Now, I was watching from the sidelines and I was just like, damn, we're really doing that. We're really doing these people like this. And it
doesn't represent you guys though, you know what I mean? Like you guys are super it needs to represent the spirit of the band as well, right? Like the Discord is kind of an extent of, you know, who you are. So like I'm guessing it's also important for you that it's chill and it's kind of representing the spirit of it, right?
Yeah, I mean, and that's probably my number one MO, man, is I'm just like, I just want to chill. That's it. You know, I'm still uninterested in anything that doesn't involve that. So
makes sense.
I don't know. Just like that is like just another point to like kind of like reinforce. Like I'm like super excited about what the band is doing going forward, and like how we want to present this, how we want to like push this envelope on, again, what I think is maxing out what we set out to do. And I have no idea what we're going to do after. So
after
please
this conversation,
get in.
time is going to go by so slow, man. We're going to be waiting for like, we're just going to be like, can it just be out? Also, I'm guessing you must be, you know, excited to, you said you're doing a lot of shows to like to meet people and actually talk with like your fans and stuff like that. That must be something that I mean, you probably already did it, but like if you're doing tons of shows, you're going to have so many occasions to like meet people and stuff like that. Is it something that you guys, you know, I'm guessing it gets you going as well, right? Like meeting those people.
It does. I legitimately do love like talking to the people that like this band, or like go out of their way to like come to the table, talk with us, or maybe they, you know, catch us at somewhere else in the venue if they recognize someone in the band, you know, stuff like that. Every one of us do. everyone in this band is mad chill to like tour with. Everyone's down to, talk to whoever wants to be enthusiastic about what we're doing. You know what I mean? Like, I do love that shit. And like that shit gets me going because like it very much reminds me, no matter what your age is, I don't think this matters, but it reminds me of when I was like 15, 16 years old. And I remember the very first big show that I went to was Atticus Metal Tour. And I want to say it was 2008. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty confident it was 2008. And it was Emir, Winds of Plague, All Shall Perish. The Ghost Inside was opening, but there was another band. Actually, the local opener was Deathcore Contortionist, because that was hometown heroes for me, because I'm from Indianapolis. I saw hella Deathcore Contortionist shows, and God, they were goated. They were so fucking good. But there was another band after the Ghost Inside that played, formative band for me, Terror. So in a very big way, my like biggest hope for this band, whether it's like just by talking to kids at shows, or they ask like what kind of shit we're into, or they notice where our influences come from, I would love to be in the same position as like Emir, All Shall Perish, Winds of Plague, in this position where all of a sudden Terror is there, and then someone else finds this and they're just like, oh my God. And then they realize like you can have all of it. You can have all of it. They can all coexist. And yeah, that is the shit that I love.
I can see that happening for you guys pretty easily, if I'm honest with you, like big things like that. We've seen it. You mentioned like I know I'm always going back to that, but to me it's huge, playing with Knock Loose and stuff like that. Like at first sight, you would think that it's different music. It's just like, Knock Loose it's different, but you guys are so angry and pissed off, and the way you do it, I'm sure it was working super well. And I'm convinced that tons of people, who were going there, maybe not knowing, or just, Knock Loose fans, heard what you guys are doing and just like, what is happening? It's amazing, and it's creating this amazing bridge. So you guys are both fitting a hardcore, I could see like a hardcore lineup, a death metal lineup, a deathcore line. It would fit all of it, slam even, it would be sick to see you, for example, like you guys with like Peeling Flesh or something. It would make sense too. So
one day
it would be actually,
we've talked, we want to do PF Squared someday.
Yeah, PF Squared, yeah.
Someday.
So, and I think it's a good thing. I feel like you guys you're not in a box, like at all, in all metal and stuff like that. You could do a freaking hardcore festival and you would kill it. You know what I mean? So it's a good thing, is what I'm saying. Like, that's amazing.
And that Knock Loose show, that was the best show the band has ever played still. Not like just attendance, but like, our day was us opening into Trash Talk, biblical set, unfucking believable. It was so good. Into Super Heaven, also great, so good. Into Knock Loose. That like it on the big like circular diagram of like genre and everything. I'm like, you're doing a little bit of everything here. Yeah. And again, I'm like, that's the best show we ever played. Like, and there's numbers to support that. And like, we had such a good experience with it. Or like when we did Dying Fetus, like that was really nerve wracking, because we look up to Dying Fetus, but also we recognize that they're an older band with a lot of older fans. And I've seen the comment section on their tours where they have deathcore openers and they hate them.
But they've always done it. They don't give a fuck.
They've always done it. And clearly it works.
Yeah.
It works because like outside of like the online noise, like when we played those shows, oh my God, like we were winning rooms, like, and it felt so good. And like, it felt good to get like dabbed up by the dude in the suffocation shirt who's like clearly over 40, something like that. And I'm like,
Hey,
you
watch
do
him
real
out
shit.
there. We're creeping up on that.
I know. I'm not too far behind, but like you see the guy who's just like clearly down like for real shit within this genre and stuff. And he was like, that was fucking beast, dude. You got any, do you have any of this shirt? And I'm like, no, I'm sorry, I'm out of this size. And he's like, why do you only have girl sizes? And I'm like, God, I love this crowd. This is crazy. No one talks like this anymore. Dude, that really did happen, by the way. He said that, and I was like, that was congrats. I was like, that was fucking sick.
Yeah, no, that's cool, man. The blending of we have these conversations like a lot of times, but I feel like it is important when you do. It makes things interesting to see, like, and it was like that back then, to see hardcore, death metal, deathcore. That was the cool part, you would see like the super like crapcore. You would see like Asking Extendure playing with freaking Suicide Silence. Like, what is happening here? And people were there for it, and. So
also on this note of those two bands next to each other, their singer does not get enough credit for his performance at the Mitch Lucker show.
Yes,
dude,
he smashes that shit.
We watched it back. We watched it back on stream like maybe a year or so ago, and I didn't remember that. I had no recollection of that performance being so fucking goated, and it was
you can tell
we like tier listed it, and he was at the top
too.
Yeah,
and like that, like first like 45 seconds, you're like, he may not know this all that well, but he like owned it, and then eventually like caught the song, and God, he does smash that shit. Does not get enough credit. I know we all know that Phil did,
of course,
like the greatest performance, maybe of the century.
Top deathcore performance, in my book, it might be like one of the
one of them
ever.
It's one of them. It's in the top 3
recorded, and, at least.
Yeah, it recorded, like it's in the top 3. It's fucked up, but
menacing.
Yeah, dude from that Asking Alexandria band does not get enough love on his performance in that little shindig. So
no, I agree, and you know what? Like, I think it's cool to. There's this like false mindset of just like you need to listen to like one thing. Like back in the days, if I'm honest with you, I would listen to like Stand Up and Scream from Asking Alexandria, but I was also listening to Chelsea Grin and Suicide Silence as well. Like, you don't have to stick to, like the blending of the I think my cam is lagging a little bit. The blending of everything is what makes it cool to me. And there should be more shows with tons of different stuff like that. That's how you bring people together, and you make the scene bigger afterwards. It becomes bigger, Remember 2008, 2009, it was huge, dude. Like,
happened all the time. You can see there's tour flyers out there where it's like, I think there's a tour flyer out there. It's like Whitechapel and like Recon, like at one point, like they toured together. I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure that happened. Like that kind of tour does not happen as much anymore. And like in a dream world where I get my say, like PF gets to do stuff like that. That was a big reason why we were like, we want to do Balmora with Psychoframe for our first shows, because they were like, they kind of started like at the exact same time as us, and we're also getting some action, and we were just like, yeah, let's go let's see if they want to play, like, kind of just make something cool happen. And those were cool shows, and those are great guys. They were really fun to hang out with for a couple of days. But that's like in spirit what we really want to do. Or like right before we played Metal Fest, we were like, God, it'd be really cool one day if we could play with Missing Link. And John, he was really good friends with Mike, their singer. So he was definitely like the connect on like making that happen and everything. But we were like, we would love to play with Missing Link. Like, because God, that band is so fucking good. And the record that they put out in 24, Scorsese. Yeah,
you guys did like a Brooklyn show with them, right?
Yeah, we did a Brooklyn show, and it was cool. It was like not. I'll admit. So I do feel very lucky to say that, like, I don't feel like Psychoframe has had a bad show. But if there is one that was the worst one,
yeah,
it could be this one in terms of just like attendance. And I only say that because on that block, the same night that we were playing, you have the Nails tour happening like 2 doors down. There's like some kind of like like prog rock thing that's happening immediately next door. I never caught a name of who those bands were. I just heard some of it when I was standing outside. There was another show in town that night. I want to say it was like an Under Oath tour or something like that. So a lot happening in New York on one night. But that show was still like pretty fucking beast. Like, I was still completely happy with it, and I had a great time. I loved watching Missing Link, and yeah, I'm like, if we can do more shit like that, I would love to. Yeah,
and you're stepping in a position now, you know, Psychoframe is getting bigger and bigger. So you're kind of the band. We were talking about the revival and all those bands, right? I'm pretty confident that any of those bands would receive like an offer from Psychoframe, like, you want to play with everybody would like kind of jump on it, you know what I mean? Like, a lot of bands are like looking up now to you guys. So like, knowing your mindset, it's like what I see in the future is you guys being stoked on like upcoming bands and stuff like that, and kind of just, you know, maybe taking them in, even if they have like a different style, right? Like, so it's cool to know that you guys are like open to like, you know, make things happen and make it bigger maybe than what it is, you know, not only playing with very similar stuff.
That, and like, I think the most important part, like, that like speaks to what you were just saying is like, I am like a little bit older. I'm 32, you know, I've been around for a second, and I'm not on my way out or anything like that, but like, I don't have all that much time to work with on like doing this band. So like, if we can highlight some cool shit that like is outside of us on our way, on our path, then that's good enough to me, you know, like wherever this fucking band goes, like, I don't know, like in terms of like success or some shit, I don't know what like a peak is, or like what we're like, there's not a goal. We're just doing this until we feel like we did what we came here to do. I don't know what that looks like yet, but
you don't know what the good times are until they're gone.
Yeah. And I think I'll know when, you know, I think any of us will know when we're like, I think we did it. I think we did the thing. Then, you know, maybe we walk away, you know, whatever, but if we can highlight some cool shit, like while we're doing it, like, that's what it's all about, you know?
If we use as a reference where you guys are at right now and the amount of time you've been doing it, which in my opinion is not that long for where you are, it's a pretty amazing freaking start, you know, like we don't see that often. We live in a world where people have like 2 seconds of attention to give people, and there's like new music being recorded and released every single day almost. It really surely feels like that. So for you guys to nail, like we talked about that with Boncher a lot, but like the image of it, like everything you've been doing, it just feels right from an outside perspective. So like if that's an indicator of where you're gonna go, let me tell you, it's looking good from the outside perspective. So
yeah, and like I agree, it's really fucking hard to keep up with stuff. Like it is hard for me to keep up with absolutely everything coming out. A lot of shit gets under my radar, you know, and maybe I find it later. Like that's kind of the best part is like, you know, it's out. I can find it when I find it, you know, whenever I'm ready, I guess. And yeah, I just, you know, I hope to see more of that with the band. And I just want to play cool shows, do it with some cool people doing cool shit. And I want to play Fortnite. And if I can have all of those, I will not lose my fucking mind.
There you go.
All right, let me contribute a little bit to you losing your mind for a second. I think we're gonna kind of wrap things up with I got fed a few things to ask you, and
okay.
So we got to talk about you lighting someone on fire on stage.
I did do that. So recently actually, so like Hunter and I talk every day almost. And I think only recently in the last couple of months did Hunter actually know that was me. Like, because I think someone else that he was friends with was like, yo, you're friends with the guy who lit his guitar player on fire. Like, he's in your band. That's it. I did that. if you watch that, you'll see that like I'm like staring at him for a moment, and then you'll see I tried blowing it out. Watch right here.
The dude taking photos from behind you is fucking great.
And then I kick him. Like, God,
yeah, you really don't want him to live.
It was useless in trying to save his life, but I was a great help in ending it. So, okay. Brake cleaning fluid. That's the thing. Okay. He wore a second like button-up shirt, like, just like what I'm wearing. He wore a second button-up shirt. So he's like triple layered. It's in the middle and it's dead of summer. So and this is the last song in the set. So I'm like, I don't know how you're doing all of this anyways, but you do a second layer extra, spray some brake cleaning fluid on him. You just light it up. And if what it's supposed to do is just kind of like, burn out like pretty quick and just go out on its own, I got a little overzealous. I really wanted it to look extra cool. I really wanted it to be cool, and I almost killed it. We did not warn anybody, and we did not come up with a backup plan, which we did not really talk about until after the fact. We were like, that was really fucking dumb.
Where's the nearest fire extinguisher type thing?
No idea where a fire extinguisher was, but I can say, because like in the video, you can see that there's like a doorway, like next to where he's standing. Through that is a very short hallway to a bathroom with a shower. And that was my next move. I was like, I'm going to Spartan kick him into the shower and just crank the water on him. We ended up not having to, because when that video ends, he's already like peeling off his shirt. He's taking his guitar off. A lot of like some of my best friends are in that room. They had no idea that was happening, and then they had to save his life, and we're just like, we're fucking sick. So yeah, I did almost kill my friend, and then when that happened, we had a lot of noise around us, because like that was a Beartooth headliner, and it was like Beartooth, Vanna, Ghost Key, and then there were some like other Indiana bands playing as well. There's this band Plans that played, but anyways, after that we got some noise. Chris then did an impromptu trip to Toronto, and he got mugged in Toronto right after.
Oh, come on.
And
this guy wasn't mental.
They took his wallet and his passport. Oh. And so, he had to go to the embassy, shit like that. Fucking poor guy. So yeah, I did do that. I did light my friend on fire, and I wanted it to be cool, and I took it too far, and it was awesome. That video is sick. Like I love when I do kind of love when that comes up in things like this, because I'm just like, that really was cool. It was very scary, but it was really cool.
All right. So why do you have a white Nissan Rouge?
I don't know. It's my wife's. Like that was the car that she picked, kind of thing, and I was just like, yeah, whatever. The other car that we have is it is a red Mini Cooper with the British flag on top of it. Like the most obnoxious fucking car you've ever seen in your life.
Cooper. Yeah.
The Mini Cooper. So it is so fucking obnoxious. And like that was my wife Maddie's car just forever. Like when we started dating, that was her car, and I didn't know that was her car. So she picked me up from the airport because I flew in to meet her and go on our first dates and stuff like that. And I remember getting to that car and I was just like, what the fuck is this? What have I gotten myself into?
And you flew there. You can't just like go back home. Like,
I'm there for a week.
Yeah.
Too late.
I'm there for a week and I'm just like, dude, who the fuck is this girl? Like, who the someone's like fish and chips ass car. Like,
you spotted the car from the plane.
Yeah, literally. And lore wise, I will say this car is very appropriate for her because her and her parents like love British comedy and shit like that. So this is lore supported. This wasn't. Yeah. This is not like a whimsical decision. Like, oh, I think this is just so fun.
They didn't win the car or like.
No, that was a calculated decision. They earned those stripes, kind of thing.
Quite literally, yeah.
And then, I don't know. We bought another car. So I drive a Nissan Rogue. Let me tell you something though. It's not. It's not as bad. Let me tell you something about Nico Calderon from Church Tongue Knocked Loose. For the longest time, Nico is 5'4". He's a little guy. He drove around a yellow Hummer H3 for years. And I remember after a show one night, we went and saw this band, Better Off. And my friend Luke, who sings and plays guitar for that band, we go get Waffle House, and Nico is like, I have to run to the house. I'll come meet up with you guys or whatever. I remember seeing this Hummer pull up, and I was like, oh, Nico just got here. And I saw Luke go, no way. No way. That's not what he's driving. Get the fuck. He sees him hop out. And me driving a Nissan Rogue is fine.
Okay. So some
people are
overcompensating and others aren't. I get it.
Yeah. I threw him under the bus to save my ass here, but yeah.
Are you bow-legged?
I'm not bow-legged.
Okay.
Faith, Hunter's girlfriend, is the most body dysmorphia inducing motherfucker I've ever met in my entire life. You should ask Brandon what she has done to his psyche. Okay. She has ruined him.
PTSD now.
His self-perception is it's in hell. It's so low. And I was tracking for the LP, and Faith is sitting on a couch. If this is me, I'm tracking, right? Faith is sitting in a couch, like effectively like back here somewhere. And Hunter is on a couch effectively like here where this desk is. They're kind of yapping in between takes. And Faith is, who cares about what she was talking about before? She's just like, yada, yada, yada. Mike's bow-legged, and then continues what she's saying, and everyone, and I don't hear it because I'm like in between takes. So I'm like, so I just screamed something, and Brandon's playing it back for me, and she's like tearing me apart, and And then I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Like, what the fuck is so funny? And yeah, then they tell me that. And I was like, oh, that's where we're at now. I'm like, now Faith is going to give me body dysmorphia. And she edits photos too. So all of a sudden she sends this photo to the group chat. Dude, I can find it. Hang on. I have to find it. Dude, she's brutal. She's absolutely brutal.
You want that person on your side, you know?
Yeah.
You do. No, you really do.
I love also that she was bringing it up casually. That's the best part. Just like a little comment like that. Super.
It was nothing. It was nothing to her. She just goes, Mike is bow-legged. And then moves on. I'll submit the photo. That's what's going to happen. I'll submit the photo. And here it is.
I'll add it in post. There we go. Okay, so who's Smokey Mokey?
So I just want to let everyone know that I am
a lot of pre, you know, you're setting
there's
things
a lot
up
of
a lot.
there's forced lore dumping happening here. You could shoot an arrow at them legs. God damn it. So I have been sober for about 2 years now. Just a decision that I made. I didn't have like a huge event, but I decided I was done. I've had my fun. And I used to smoke weed, and Smokey Mokey was what they called me. And listen, I was a good time. I'm aware of that. And and not everyone in Psychoframe ever got to see that. The only people in Psychoframe that ever met Smokey Mokey was Hunter and Jordan. Nobody else ever did. And when Jordan met me for the first time, like we kind of went on like a bender for like 4 days, because Moodering had like died on this tour, and we went and picked them up, and they just chilled at my apartment for like 4 days while they kind of figured out a solution. And really that solution just involved us like being like, I don't know, we're just partying. Yeah, so that's who that is. There's many stories, photos, awesome photos of me being Smokey Mokey. But he's dead. He's dead.
Of the past. Okay.
It's a character of the past. I'm just Mike now.
Part of the lore, though. You know,
it is lore. Smokey Mokey is lore. Again, I was awesome.
You say just Mike, but you're actually more so known as Boner Mike now.
Dude, I know. What the fuck did they do that to me for? What's that about? Like, I remember seeing that shit happening. Can we get the brown Jeep lore? You can't, honestly. The Boner Mike thing. Okay, so I went through a little bit of a phase where I thought I was losing my hair. I'm not losing my hair. I'm not bald, but I was convinced that
we haven't
I was
seen it yet.
Fucked.
You got the hat on, so. Okay, there we go.
I have hat hair right now, but you know, whatever.
That's acceptable. We'll take
but that's
it.
normal. Yeah. I was a barber for 7 years. If you wear a hat like that, of course, if you remove it, it's not the same. You know, like,
right?
It's normal.
But yeah. So, anyways, I was bald. There is a photo of me, and it's just the right angle. You know, it's just the right angle, and I was also like cleanly shaven. So I look like a penis in this photo. And look, I got a big neck, right?
I'm imagining this right now with no beard, and I can see it.
I just looked like a penis, and Hunter had dropped the photo in our Discord and was like, "Here's Penis Mike," and then it got switched to Boner Mike, and then people started elongating the neck.
In a really not
wow.
Photoshop way, like it's very like rudimentary, which makes it even better.
Yeah, it looks like shit and it's awesome. Yeah, those are awesome. There's people in that, from the psychoframe community, they have that shit on a t-shirt. And
Yeah, I saw that.
I did initially make the joke. I was like, if you fucking wear that shirt and like come to a show, you have to give me $5. And fucking two people did try and Matt and Will did try and give me $5. I was like, I was just fucking with you. But that spawned some other things. You have Jordan Crane, where they have just turned him into a crane. You have Long John. Shit's awesome. Colter hasn't gotten to.
Well, I was going to ask, have the people deliberated? Because there's been a bunch of ideas floating around, but nothing's stuck yet.
I don't think anything's stuck just quite yet. I actually probably need to revive that a little bit. I need to get them cooking because he can't just keep getting away with this and getting out clean.
There's something with the Colt 45, or there's
there's Flathead Brandon. That's a faith thing. That's a
body dysmorphia thing. Yeah,
dude, that's a body dysmorphia thing. Listen, his head is flat.
We're all bullying.
I know he's probably watching this. Look at me. The back of that head looks crazy. All right. Brandon, your head is fucking flat, but it is not that flat.
Okay.
Last lore dump. What is the Roach's Corner?
Fuck them. Fuck my band. Okay, there is this. It didn't stick. I can tell you that much. Because sometimes the way that I write is very on the fly and just kind of like, sometimes I just get an idea of something, or like what really happens a lot is I mishear something that is said. And I was listening to, I want to say it's by Propaganda. Let me look here. Propaganda. Bring me up the artist. There it is. Yep. Dear Coach's Corner by Propaganda.
Okay.
And it came up, and I think I'm like kind of dyslexic or something, because sometimes I read or hear things different, and I'm like, what the fuck did they say? And I rewind, and it's not what they said at all.
Okay.
Sometimes I get my best stuff doing that, but it didn't happen this time. And I had written this lyric and I misheard it, and it said the Roach's Corner. And I was like, I will expand on whatever the fuck that is later. But on its own, unexplained, I like it. And whenever I had like sent like my first draft of what is now the first song on the new LP, I like 2 days went by, and then all of a sudden Brandon just texted chat, and he goes, "Hey Michael, what's the Roach's Corner?" And I was like, oh my fucking God, it's a thing. It was a thing. And then every member of Psychoframe was just like, can you tell me about the Roach's Corner? And I was like, fucking let me explain what I'm going for. You're getting me right now. I'm vulnerable. And
look, do you know what the Coach's Corner is? Do you know what's actually being referenced here?
But yeah, it's the corner that a fighter goes into.
That's not what they're referencing though.
No.
So Coach's Corner, but that's in typical Canadian propaganda fashion. Coach's Corner is actually a duo of dudes, but it's mainly this one guy called Don Cherry. He does hockey commentary, but it's like during the official matches, he'll have like his segments between periods and stuff.
Yeah.
But he's been known for being a bigot and a racist and all these other things. But he's mostly known because he wears these like crazy suits every single game, like a different suit every time. And that's just like a staple to Canadian hockey culture. And that's Coach's Corner, and that's what they're referencing in the song 1,000%.
Interesting. Mm-hmm. Interesting.
But if you're not Canadian, there's no real way of knowing that. But the fuck, what was the name of the song? The fuck Coach's Corner, like
dear Coach's Corner.
Dear Coach is clearly like a hate letter to that. To that.
Well, that's cool. Yeah, I mean, I no fucking idea. You know, that's one of those things where it is cool when music kind of crosses over into something like that, and it's like. I love things that are like so of the area. And that is so of the area where I'm just like, I don't know. Like, and I have a lot of love for when bands do shit like that. And that's funny because like I did like kind of the exact opposite with this band with the plot to nuke the Midwest. I'm the only like real Midwestern in this band. And I remember people being like, do they fucking hate the Midwest? And I was like, no, I love it. But I just named this song about destroying it. But yeah, I love that kind of shit. I love a very region specific thing for a band. And
kind of just like repping where you're from, I guess.
Yeah, it's cool.
Those kind of things kind of make, I don't know, people that are from there will connect to it, but then it's also kind of like bringing that culture outside of where you're from.
Yeah. It's just cool. I love that shit. The Roach's Corner.
Feel like they have kind of an inside type thing with the band. Like you feel a connection with the band because they're referencing where you are. It's pretty cool. I think it's cool.
Yeah, you know, or like if you are also from the area, you know, like, you know, it's so I'm from Indiana. There's not like a whole lot of bands from where I come from. When I was growing up, my hometown heroes were the Contortionist, Haste the Day, and Gwen Stacy.
Love Haste the Day, by the way, like a lot. I love that band. I remember.
I did like Haste the Day a lot. I liked Gwen Stacy a lot too when I was younger. Their bass player, his mom was one of my teachers in high school. But yeah, no, we didn't have like a whole lot in the term of like hometown heroes. There's way more bands than what I just mentioned. Like there's a shit ton more bands, but like those are like the biggest ones. And that was always something I felt was like kind of missing specifically within my own state. Is like or at least it wasn't something I got to like participate in as much. I didn't find that as much from like the bigger bands. So I get jealous like whenever like I look at bands like from one of the coasts and like they rep so hard and you're like, it's so cool. Cause like you can tell that like they love where they're from so much. And you can tell that like by them loving where they're from, like it brings them so much. And like everyone like participates that much harder because of it. And I'm like, yeah, that happens in the Midwest, happens in Ohio as fuck. Yeah, motherfuckers love being from Ohio.
It's funny because it's almost like it's almost similar to sports in that way. You know what I mean?
It
brings people together, and it's like a home thing. Like people are so involved and passionate about that. Like
that's my home team kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I think it's cool.
That's pretty cool. Psychoframe live from the Roach's Corner. That's the live album.
There we go.
We got it.
Dude.
Yeah.
This is fucking awesome, man. Thank you so much for doing this. I'd love to maybe round this out with if you could kind of tell everyone what you've got going on right now.
Yeah.
Stuff that's come out recently. I know you guys are doing the Angel Maker tour. We didn't really touch on that at all. Obviously, you get the talks of the LP eventually, but like anything you can kind of plug or talk about in terms of what's coming.
It can be completely outside of music.
Well, I mean, you've got Church Tongue that's putting out a record as well. Yeah, that's coming up super soon, right?
Super soon. So Church Tongue is releasing an EP through Pure Noise Records on Valentine's Day, February 14th. It is called You'll Know It Was Me. It is a record about love and love of the game. And I'm very proud to have made that with my friends. I've been in that band for so fucking long, and we finally feel like we're getting some eyes on it. And yeah, check it out, please.
Sure.
Yeah,
do.
please. But and then with psychoframe, yeah, we have a tour coming up in April, and that is
Sick
with
tour.
Angel Maker, Humanity's Last Breath, us, and Gloom in the Corner. And it's gonna be a banger. It's gonna be a good fucking tour.
First actual full US, right?
Full US. We're doing the whole thing, front to back.
Plus Canada. We'll be seeing you there.
Plus
dude,
Canada.
we're gonna see you there. Yeah,
Yeah.
like I just want to say something. Like I'm the kind of person who loves being home, and I need to go more in shows and stuff like that. But when I saw that, I told them, I'm like, okay, this one I don't have a choice. I have.
Yeah.
I have
Full
to be there.
transparency, it would have been on a Wednesday, and we do these shows every Wednesday. We would have canceled the show.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
No, not kidding. No, for real. For real.
Yeah.
We
No.
talked about it. We're like in the beginning of the show. Remember, we talked about that. We're like, if they come here,
you could have done a live ep.
There we go.
actually could.
That's an idea. But yeah, we're doing that tour, doing the whole thing. There is a little bit of a misconception with some of the last dates on that flyer, where only Angel Maker is playing like the last 4 shows, because they're just routing back home to Western Canada. So if you're in like Kansas City, Missouri, we're not playing. If you see this, we're not
Still
playing.
gonna get messages probably afterwards. But.
I know. I really try and like help those people out, because like with the Spite and Body Snatcher tour, like people
thought you
did
were
show
doing the
up.
full thing. Yeah.
Yeah, people showed up thinking that they were going to see us, and they found out they weren't. So
We got to learn how to
try and
read
be
a
a little
flyer,
helpful.
man.
You just got to read a
Asterisk.
flyer. I know it's fucking annoying. Like I know, like, but try and help out here and there. But we're doing that tour. We have an LP in the tank. It is mixed. It has a name. There's artwork done, and it's coming
You
out
guys
this
are
year.
killing it with that. Just side notes, the artwork, like every single freaking artwork ever made by Psycho. I'm always like, I know it's gonna be good. You know,
The artwork is cool. And yeah, we're working on the layout for that right now. So it is coming out this year. I don't have a date, just being honest.
Let's go.
We will be doing more tours other than the Angel Maker tour. There will be other chances to see us in the United States this year. If you don't live in America, think about some things. It might be something happening for you. So
There we go.
We keep calling it the year of psychoframe. To be fair,
The year psychoframe.
Yep.
it is gonna be a big year for us. And again, like I want to give. I want to live out the responsibility of this thing, where like a lot of people have latched onto it and they're showing us a lot of love, or they just want to see the band. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna give it to you. Like because I benefit too. I have fun. Like I love cool shows and stuff, but like I do see the rest of the band sees all the comments where they're like, would love to see this band, wish they'd play California, or wish they'd play, Texas, wish, all these things. And we're going to do it. And we're all really excited about it. The other tours that we have coming up this year are fucking sick. Really good lineups with some other bands that you need to be paying attention to, and have been making a lot of good music. They've all been making their own strides, and I'm friends with a great deal of them, and they all deserve their success. And I'm so excited for us to hit the road with them.
Well, we're excited.
You'll see that
for
when it
your
announces and stuff. So,
dude, we're super excited for you guys. Like, it really, like, you started strong this year, like, I mean, videos and stuff, like everything's doing super well, but like touring, it's like this whole other, that's when things happen, like people get the chance to, so like I'm super excited. Unfortunately, I'm not the 16-year-old like mushing guy that I was. I'm gonna be way more calm than that now.
Same.
But really waiting to see that. Yeah, I'm not that kid. I'm not that guy anymore, I looked at the pit last time and I was like, yeah, that's not me anymore. But
I don't got it in me anymore, man. I really don't.
I'm too old. I'm like thinking about
hurts.
what happened, like what can happen. I'm like, I don't think. What if, I'm like, oh no, okay, it's not my place anymore. I let the floor for other people.
But so then you have like the other members of Psychoframe that are a little younger, like Leo. Leo is like, I'm gonna go mosh, and I'm like, I literally need your limbs. Please don't get hurt. I think about that's what I think about. I'm just like, it can happen so fast, man.
Yes, sir.
and I don't recover like I used to. So
same, exactly.
Yeah, I mean,
oh, it's cool, man. Super cool. Seriously, we'll be there, is what I'm saying.
Yes,
yeah.
sir.
No. I love the show, and thank you guys for having me on it, and thank you for giving like such a huge shit about this band. And like, I do see like the way that you guys put on for us, like all the time. I've seen how many times I've seen the Psychoframe counter, like show up in episodes. Like that does mean a lot to all of us. And yeah, again, just happy to have done it. Would love to do another one. We can expand on some more lore,
Yes, sir.
maybe talk about an LP when it comes out. We do the counter is 17.
Look, we haven't kept up to date with the counter so much, but
yeah.
No, okay. But yeah, I don't know. I just all love to you guys. And, congrats on the show. I think the show's awesome. I think people give a fuck about it, and I hope they continue to, because you guys do good work. So
thanks. Really appreciate it, dude. Like, that's at the end of the day, we started that because we are fan. Like, we love this scene. We love everything about it. And if we can play even if it's a small role into like uplifting what we love and like supporting what we love, that's the entire point of it, if we're being honest. Yes, we're nerds. We love talking about origins and whatever influences and stuff like that. But the first thing that we connected in common is that we love all of it. And if we can offer like a cool platform and occasion for people in our chat, dude, they're having a blast. Like our community, it's no secret, our community is all about Psychoframe as well. So I know they're having a blast as well. So that's, it's all for the love, basically, is what I'm saying. So you're most welcome, but it's kind of a gift for us as well, like today we were just like super excited. So thanks to you, man, is what I'm saying.
of course, yeah, we'll have to do it again
for sure.
Yes,
for sure,
we'll keep in touch, and we'll see you in Montreal.
Yeah,
of course.
Me too.
All right.
Me, actually, it's gonna it would be great,
Oh yeah, it'll be good.
Yeah.
All right, we'll catch y'all soon, my man. Thank you so much.
Of course.
All right,
Take care, dude.